Welcome to an AMX Technical Quick Start video. In this video we're going to show you how to configure an ICSLan box, specifically how to connect an ICSLan box to a NetLinx master controller if you don't have a DHCP server on your network. So what we're going to do here first of all is connect to our NetLinx master controller with NetLinx Studio. Now the NetLinx master controller has an IP address of 192.168.69.169. I need to make sure that my laptop is on the same broadcast domain so that I can connect to it on the network. In Windows, if you go to the control panel and network connections and right click on your network adapter that you're using, and then select Internet Protocol version 4 and click Properties, you'll notice my IP address is 192.168.69.69 with a 255.255.255.0 subnet mask. That's the same subnet mask and same 3 octets used by the master controller. So I am on the same subnet. If I try to ping that master controller just to confirm it, I do get a reply from the master controller. So now I'm just going to go back to NetLinx Studio, which is already configured to connect to that master controller's IP address. I'm going to right click in the online tree and click Refresh System Online Tree. So now I'm connected to the master controller. You can see that it doesn't have any devices connected to it other than the NetLinx Studio application showing up as a dynamic device number. So I'm going to plug in my EXPCOM2 to the network. The EXPCOM2 is just one of many ICSLan boxes available from AMX. And when an ICSLan box comes out of the factory, by default it's configured to DHCP. So it's trying to contact a DHCP server to be assigned an IP address. There is no DHCP server on this network, so it will sit there forever trying to continually contact a DHCP server. But if it hasn't been assigned a DHCP server IP address, it actually assigns itself a link local IP address in the subnet range 169.254.2. If I refresh the system online tree in NetLinx Studio now, we can see that the EXPCOM2 is showing up. It's an unbound NDP device, meaning it's not connected to the master controller, but the master controller can see it. If I right click on the EXPCOM2 and click Show Device Properties, we can see that the IP address of the EXPCOM2 is 169.254.2.2, even though the IP address of the master controller is 192.168.69.169, and it's still showing up. But notice I'm not able to ping the IP address of the EXPCOM2, meaning I can't actually see it on the network. The reason it's visible in the online tree at this point is because it sends out a multicast IP beacon, which crosses the broadcast domains. Meaning you can plug it into any network, no matter what your master controller is configured to. And if you don't have a DHCP server, that ICSLan box will still be discoverable. So what we're going to do now is, because there's no DHCP server, we want to configure that ICSLan box manually. I'm going to configure my laptop to be on the same broadcast domain as the ICSLan box, so 169.254.2. And if I try to ping the ICSLan box now, I should get a reply. And you'll notice NetLinx Studio lost connection to the master controller because I'm no longer on that broadcast domain. So now I'm going to telnet to the ICSLan box. I'm connected to the EXPCOM2 via telnet, and this is how we manually configure the IP address and other settings. If I type get config into the console, you can see some current settings, such as the fact that it's configured for NDP, it's not connected to any master controller, and you can see other information such as device number, IP address, and so on. I can manually set the IP address of the EXPCOM2 by typing set IP. If I type S for IP type, it sets it to static mode, and I'm going to configure the IP of the EXPCOM2 to be on the same broadcast domain as my NetLinx master controller. So I'm going to set it to 192.168.69.2. I'm going to leave the default subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and I could change the gateway IP if I wanted to. Since I don't need a gateway for this example, I'm just going to leave it. I'm happy with the settings. I type Y and hit enter, and now you just need to reboot the EXP COM2 by typing reboot. So at this stage we've lost connection to the EXP COM2 because it's rebooting. When it boots back up, it will be on the same broadcast domain as the master controller, 192.168.69. So we need to change our settings on our laptop to be on that same broadcast domain again. So I'm going to set my laptop back to 192.168.69. Okay, now I'm going to telnet back to that EXP COM2 on its new IP address, which is 192.168.69.2. Type get config, and you can see that its current IP address is static 192.168.69.2. I'll now refresh the online tree in NetLinx Studio again. And if I right click on the device and click show device properties, we can see once again that its IP address is 192.168.69.2. So it's now on the same broadcast domain as the master controller, meaning we can now connect that EXP COM2 to the master controller. Right click on the device and click show bind unbind device, select the master controller that you want to bind it to, and then just refresh the online tree to see that it has now connected to that master controller. You'll notice it's connected as a dynamic device with a device number 32002. We could change the device number of the EXP COM2 from a dynamic number to a number in the physical device range 1 to 32,000. Now that the EXP COM2 is connected to the master controller, we could do this from NetLinx Studio, but we can also do it through the telnet session. If we type help in telnet, we can see there's many commands that are available to configure the ICSLan box. And one of those commands is set device, and this allows us to set the device number. So I'm going to set it to 7001, and I don't need to reboot after doing that. And now if I refresh the online tree again, we'll see the EXP COM2 has now changed its device number to 7001. I'll just refresh it one more time so it moves from the searching state back to connected to the master controller. And there it is configured and connected to the master controller with a new device number. So, just to recap, if your ICSLan box is configured to DHCP mode, but you don't have a DHCP server on your network, the ICSLan box will automatically assign itself a link local IP address of 169.254.2.2, even though the ICSLan box is on a different subnet to the NetLinx master controller. The ICSLan box will still be discovered by the master controller and show up in the online tree. You can change the network settings of your laptop or PC to be on the same broadcast domain as the ICSLan box, and then telnet to the ICSLan box and manually set its IP address to be on the same broadcast domain as the NetLinx master controller. You can also set the device number of the ICSLan box from telnet. Thank you for watching this AMX Technical Quick Start video. For more information on the complete range of ICSLan boxes, please visit www.amx.com.